Hey there, everybody. Robert Taylor with Wonderscape Creations, continuing on with our not inventory, crafting system for Narrative Pro. Um, we will now get started with the widgets. I do need to begin by saying that this is only to visually see everything working and to make sure that everything works code side. I kept everything very similar to how Narrative Pro has their widgets now. Um, so if you already have your UI, then you may want to obviously make changes after you're done with this, especially if you don't use Narrative Pro's common UI stuff. If you don't use that, you may run into some issues. And honestly, there's nothing I specifically can do about that. Um, I can just show you how it works with Narrative Pro as a whole. For those of you using just the inventory component, obviously, technically this would work as long as you're using Narrative Common UI. So let us go ahead and get started. I will show you what we will be ending with. Just very simple, nothing pretty about it. Two widgets, a crafting recipe list, and the crafting inspector that are on an active, a narrative activatable widget. As you can see, we'll be making one, two, three, four, five, six. We'll be making 6 widgets to put on the narrative player info. This is not something I would recommend doing, as this is you changing something in the plugin stuff. So it's something you would need to re-add every single time there's an update. Unless you go ahead and completely and totally move all of that UI to your own personal folder and make it your own, which is definitely a possibility that you could do if you choose to. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we need to make is our crafting recipe list widget. So let's go ahead and get started with that. We're going to come down to the user interface, widget blueprint, and we are going to search for WBP underscore narrative activatable widget. We'll hit select WBP crafting recipe list, and let's open it up. The first thing that we're going to have, and it's what I've chosen because it's how I prefer things, is we're going to first get a size box and place that in here. We're going to select it, and we are going to set the minimum desired width to 450 and the maximum desired height to 800. We'll then also change this to custom. Let me check, see here what this is doing for custom. Yeah, we have the custom for this whole widget set at 0 and 700. 800 will be where we have it actually because of the min and max stuff that we set in the size box. That way we see what we need to see. All right, nothing else has been changed in there. The next thing we need is an overlay. So let's go ahead and provide ourselves with the overlay we need. And we will then select that overlay. And okay, everything seems to be set correctly. I'm not sure why I have that as a variable right now. So I won't make it one now. I might down the road if it's needed. The next thing we need again, right now I don't know why I have this, but it's probably because I plan on making changes later. So let's look for an image. Place that in here. And of course we fill it. And then for the brush, we're going to go to the tint here and we're going to put the alpha at 0 for now, for some reason. And I think that is all we change in this for the moment. The next thing we need is a view box. Not a view box, a vertical box. Not on there, onto the overlay. We will select the vertical box and stretch it horizontally and vertically. And I believe that is all we're doing with that vertical box. Inside of it, we will put a size box. Just like that. We will select it. And for the size box, we are going to put the minimum desired height, not width, height, to be 50. And the max desired height to be 50. Excuse me. And that's it for that one. We will then put a horizontal box in the size box. Just like that. And with the horizontal box, we will make sure that it's filled. No changes in there as of now. And now we are going to look for, sorry, I need to expand my notes here. Give me a second. Okay. We are looking for WBP underscore narrative common text block. We'll put that here in the horizontal box. And this we will have it centered vertically, stretching out horizontally. And we will change the text. Oh, whoops. There we go. Vertically. And in the padding for the left, we'll put 16. Next, for the text, we will change it to recipes. And we'll make sure that this is textile master white H2. Obviously, you can change the style to however you see fit down the road. Just for now, we are setting things up specifically. We'll change this to upper. And that's all we need there. Next, we need a spacer. Inside this horizontal box. And the spacer itself, I have it stretched out like that. And for the size, I have it at 150. I think that's all that I have changed in that spacer. Yep. I actually should do it this way. Let's go with fill. Not auto. Well, yeah. I want to go with fill there because that's exactly what I want. We're going to make things a little different, actually. We'll go with fill. And we're going to come here to this horizontal box. Center it. Just like that. And I'll show you why in a minute. I'll be changing that now that my brain worked that out. But anyways, back to the spacer. We have everything that we need there. The next thing that we need to get is another one of these beautiful buttons here. So it needs to be a WBP narrative common text block. This text block right here, we'll have it set to auto for now. Center and center. We will name this one research points. And then, yes, this one we change to white underscore H3. Okay. Perfect. Sorry, something about this feels too small all of a sudden. Okay, now it's fine because of the zoom. The next thing that we are going to want is one more of these blocks here. This one, we want it to be auto as well. Padding of the left to 5. Center, center. I put -1 here for now. This also needs to be white underscore H3. I want to change this size box here, minimum width and max width, to be 450 as well. I don't want it stretching any more than that. Let's see here. And then we will put this along the right here. View 2 will be along the right. Center, center. This one along the left and center. Okay. Everything should work out as it needs to now. Cool. The next thing we need to do is we need another overlay. Yeah. We'll put this in the vertical box. Yeah. Just like that. And this one, this one we will fill. And then we will add a scroll box to this overlay. Okay, here's the scroll box. And we will fill it this way and keep it just like that. And sorry, I'm doing a lot of comparisons here. When scrolling possible is obviously how we want to consume the mouse wheel. Scroll bar visibility, I have it set to visible. Orientation we have set to vertical. So the scroll bar thickness we'll set to 20 for now. And this is set to 4. And then always show scroll bar is how I have it in here for now. And I think, oh, there's one more thing here. Style, bar thickness 10. A lot of this I've followed from Narrative Pros stuff on how they do their instances of situations. So that's why things may be a little on the unique side. In this scroll box, I named recipe list. At which point now we need one more overlay. Within the scroll box. This overlay here, set to auto fill and nothing else. And then finally, we get ourselves a wrap box. Place that in the overlay. This wrap box is a variable, and we will name it category wrap box. And we want it to fill and fill, just like that. I do believe that is everything we want there. It is. Now that we've got that, we need to add the view models. Now, you most likely won't see these two windows here. That's fine. If you don't, just come up here to Windows, View Bindings, View Models. These options will not show up unless you are in the Designer section of the widget. Now, once you've done that, let's go ahead and hit the plus sign on the view model. We want this view model. Let's select. Now, we can ignore this for now because we're getting ready to take care of that. But before we do that, click on the view model. And we know what it is, but we're not going to do it manually. We're going to go for that global view model collection that we made way back 2 episodes ago. Crafting VM. There we go. And now this is set up as it needs to be and everything will register. Now we need to create some bindings. First things first. In order to properly create those bindings, we actually need a couple of variables that we don't currently have. So let's go into the graph. And let's get to creating. The first thing we want to do is on the event construct, so we can get rid of the pre-construct and the tick. We're not going to need them. We're going to get our wrap box and clear children. Very important to make sure you do that every time, or it's just going to always add more children and it's going to look like a crumpled up mess and you're going to have duplicates. At which point we need the crafting reference. So we're going to get crafting reference. This will be a crafting component. And what we want to do, crafting categories. Now, traditionally, I would have a getter and have this not here, and have it as protected, so that we could make the changes on like the player state and whatnot that we needed when creating what's in the crafting categories. But I haven't done that yet. Might do that in the future. We need a for each loop. And after that, we need to create widget. We don't currently actually have the widget, and that's fine, because we're getting ready to make it. We will then, let's get the wrap box. Add child to wrap box. Perfect. Now then, to set a few things up, because we need this crafting reference. We currently aren't looking for it anywhere. view model makes that very easy. We're going to add widget. We'll select our main widget here, which will populate down here for us. And I'm going to look for our crafting component. Where is it? One second here. Oh, maybe it's because I need to compile it. Yep, right there. Once I compiled it, you need to make sure you compile it before you start the binding so that you can actually find the reference. So we now have, we're now saying that we want to add something to our widget's reference. That's what this is, mode, one way. So this is to the widget. We will now come here to our view model. Don't select that whatsoever. Select this, crafting component, select. One second here. For some reason, oh, wait a second. Let's remove that for a moment. I'm gonna pause this real quick and see what I did, what I missed. All right, so I've got it working out, compiled. So the problem was I needed to just select this and then select this right here. I didn't need to go down into here and find the component. Just select get crafting component, hit select. Now it works. Geez, one second. Not sure where the cough is coming from. The next thing we need to do is we need to set up the research point number. And this is even easier. We will select our the text right here. I'm going to rename this research number text just because I want it easy. Now, if I have this selected and then I hit the plus sign, because I have something within the widget selected, it'll automatically bind it. I don't have to come in here and find it. The next thing I need to do, I still need to come down into here. I'm going to search for text, hit select, and we're going to come in here, and we're not going to come here to the view model. We need to convert because we're converting an integer into a text. So we come here into utility, text, to text integer, hit select, which then provides us with these bindings. So we'll hit this broken chain to make it not broken. Now we'll select the view model, research points, select, compile. So now you'll see once everything's set up, this will show as a 0 instead of a -1, which is why I set it as -1 when we first made it. And we can no longer make changes to it because it's bound right here. It's how it should be. All right. Now, before we can finish this, we need to create its child. So let's create the category list. Now then, with that being said, I think what we're going to do, double check and make sure. Yeah, they're very similar. So we are going to be smart about this. We're going to duplicate this. I don't duplicate often, and I don't recommend to duplicate, but there's a lot of work that's very similar in this instance. So I'm going to do that. So this one, I will name category list. Okay. And we're going to come in here. Come in here into the designer. And I'm going to remove this, remove this, and then delete that. I don't need view models in this one. Next, I'm going to yes, get this and delete it. Delete that. Delete that. And we will make this being the category. We'll have it auto fill like that. Okay, and then the horizontal box. Fill. There we go. Like that. Now next, I'm going to change the name of this category to category title. Make it a variable. And we will also be changing this to white underscore T1. Now the font itself will say category. There we go. And now we have that done on the design side. So now let's go over to the graph side. Hop over here. We'll still be doing this, but instead we need to add something. We're going to come to the category title, set text, just like that. And then we are going to be getting category. Yeah. So we need a variable that we need to make called category. And it'll be of type S category. Compile. Bring that in here. Break. Boom. At which point, instead of this, delete that, we need our category again. Break. Boom. We have that set up. Something that's important that we do here for the category is we mark it instance editable and expose on spawn. And of course, we'll leave this empty for now. But we're now going to go to this one that we closed for some reason. Come in here. So we have our widget now. WBP underscore category list. Oh, yeah. That's not smart. Let's remove this to none. Right here. Yes, right in here. Category list. Okay, we have that. Let's compile this real quick. Because when we do that, we refresh this node. Why is it not showing up? I did something backwards. Please give me a moment to see what I did wrong so I can fix it for everybody. All right, sorry about that. I, for some reason, decided to make the crafting recipe list the category list, so I had to re-put everything how it's supposed to be. So the actual crafting list looks how it should. There's one thing I want to change. We want to change this from category wrap box to sub category wrap box. One other thing we want to do. Yeah, I got that. Okay. So let me quickly change this stuff back to, no. What have I done here? Designer. Yeah. Category. White underscore T1, I believe is what it was. Yes. Okay. So now we have subcategory wrap box set up, and we have the category set up how it's supposed to be. You'll see that these were changed how they were supposed to be, and I forgot to update this. That's why it's important to make sure you're paying attention. Let's remove that. There we go. And changing the correct things. So now that we have our category list properly set up, if we come back to our crafting recipe list, and we find our category list widget blueprint that we made, we now have a category. We can plug that in. We can select this. And now, this whole crafting recipe one is completed and ready. Now we need to do this for our subcategory. And we're going to do the same, but pay close attention this time. One other thing, actually, is there's something that needs to be removed because it's not necessary for the category list and onward. So let's come back in here to the category list. I do apologize. Go to the designer. We no longer need scroll box. Yeah, we don't have a scroll box anymore. So we're going to right place, replace with child, which means we don't need this overlay, so we can replace with child. There we go. We are good to go now. Everything is as it should be, except this we need to fill. There we go. Compile and save. Excuse me. Now that these look very different, right click, duplicate. This one we're going to make called subcategory. I'm going to open it up. That's what I skipped last time. I didn't open it up. I just changed the one that was open. And in the subcategory, we obviously want to change this from category to subcategory. Excuse me. And we have this as white underscore H3. All right. And now we're going to change this name to recipe wrap box. Compile, jump into the graph here. And now, I didn't change the name of category tile. I'm going to keep it as it is. It's fine. Now what we need to do is these need replaced. So delete them. We're going to come over here to the category. I'm going to rename it to subcategory. And I'm going to change this to S crafting subcategory. Hit compile. Yeah, we know it's undetermined right now. It's fine. Break to get the name. Get the array. compile. Now let's come back into our category list where we have this not being built yet. And we're going to find our subcategory, which plugs in right there. Compile and save. Now for our subcategory list. In this one, we do things slightly differently. By slightly differently, I mean there's a lot that's been changed, and that's fine. Well, not, I won't say changed because it has been changed. But this does provide us with a recipe now instead of anything else. So we can now scooch this stuff over because there's some things we need to do. We're going to break async load. We've seen this before. We'll hide unconnected. Get crafting data asset. We need to make sure we plug that in right there. It needs to be on the completed, which just told me something that I did not specify. So we need to stop this right now. Come into the crafting component. I know exactly where the problem would be. Under events. Yep. We need to change the async load recipe data. It needs to come removed from this pen and put on the completed. Glad that I realized that. A little late, but I realized it. Once we've now back into our subcategory list widget, we need to pull out of the recipe and find crafted item. And we're going to do another async load. And under class, we're going to cast to narrative item. Doesn't matter that we're casting to it because it's because the async load just loaded in. If we did this, actually, resolve soft reference, this would also give it to you if you wanted to do it this way. And what we want to do is get class defaults. Now we bring this back over here. And we are going to, I don't think I've made it yet. No, I have not. We need to create our own button. So we're going to come back into our UI. Let me find our button here. Right click. User interface. Widget blueprint. It will be WBP underscore narrative button text select. WBP underscore crafting item button WC. Now we will make changes to it in a moment because we don't need it for what we're about to make any changes for what we are about to do now. So we need to find our crafting button, which provides us with a bunch of stuff. Okay. We need to get owning player. We should have been doing this to begin with for the rest of them, and I didn't, so we will change that right now with everything else. Okay. Place that in here. And we need, there is one thing that we don't have that we'll need to get, and we'll get that in a second. Display name. Oh, I did it for both of them. I hadn't realized. I forgot. So yeah, let's go ahead and open up our button here. Where is it? Okay. So let me look at our button here. Yep, I made a change to something in here. Right there. Select on the button and change the text justification to centered. And now let's go into the graph. And, yep. Okay. That's exactly what I did. Since we're in here, let's go ahead and get this taken care of. We will get the button text block. Get button text block. Set text. Just like that. And we're going to come out of here, promote the variable, display name. Perfect. And while we're here, we'll go ahead and get the recipe. Recipe. That's what we need. And we need to set these as it's edible and expose on spawn. Do everything else we need in the button in a moment. Let's hop back in here. You'll see that they haven't been added, and that's normal. We will right click, refresh node. Here they are. Display name, just like that. I'm going to hide all those. And for the recipe, come all the way over here to the recipe and plug it in. There we go. This will create our buttons. Oops. Perfect. Now that we've got all of that set up, we have our buttons doing their thing. Let us jump back into our graph of the button. Now, before we continue on, I want to make sure that we don't forget anything. So I'm going to hit the plus sign. We need our crafting inspector, which we haven't made yet. So let's quickly make that. Let me find the crafting inspector here. That's not the crafting inspector. There it is. Yeah. Okay. So we won't do anything with it yet. Where is it? Widget blueprint. And we need this to be a part of WBP underscore narrative activatable widget. Select WBP crafting inspector creations. Now we're not going to open this now because we don't need it now. We're going to be doing that in the next episode because this episode is run way too long. Let's go ahead and compile this, and I'm going to Control-Shift-S because I had a lot of stuff here. Now we're going to change this to crafting inspector. Now we don't need this to be exposed or anything. It's the beautiful thing about what we're doing next. Now we're going to do right click here, bind. No, we're going to assign on event. No, not on event. On clicked. On clicked. And this is why we need our crafting inspector. Activate widget. Button being clicked will activate our crafting inspector, which will show us everything that is required for crafting the item. I don't expect any of this to make sense yet. It will once we get to the inspector. So please feel free to follow along confused, and it will all make sense very soon. Actually, yep, there's things that we need from the crafting inspector itself to go further, to go along any further. So we're going to leave it at this for this episode. We have very little to do. We only have one or two more widgets to create itself. But they hold all of the information. This was just building up to that information. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will finish up the widgets hopefully in the next episode. Thanks again. Bye.